Alpha Gal News. I'm Nettie Pullman, and today's segment is going to be a little bit on cooking. The importance of eating can't be understated to a person with Alpha Gal because their diet is extremely limited. It's almost vegan. You can still have fish, you can still have chicken, you can still have turkey, and maybe some other types of foods. But mainly you're restricted, other than those meats, to using fruits, vegetables, and grains around you. So the idea, if you're losing weight, you need to understand that you may be in some way, fashion, or form continuing to put Alpha Gal into your system. As long as you do that, you're not going to gain weight. So what we're going to do is show you how to gain weight, and today I'm going to be showing you a basic smoothie that would help you pack some calories into your day. If you didn't have time to eat 5 or 6 times, this one's really going to get your numbers up. Okay, so today we are going to make, this is going to be the first time I've had a banana in quite a while, and what we're going to do with this banana is we are going to fry it. We're going to take some coconut oil, okay? I'm not formal, so don't mind. I'm going to use my hands because it's my food and I don't care. And we're going to put it into this frying pan. And I'm going to turn on the frying pan and just kind of on a medium heat with coconut oil because you can't get coconut oil too hot. We're going to start that getting warm. In the meantime, I'm going to take and I'm going to slice a banana up. And I'm just going to take the peel off of it right now. And I don't really want to slice it into small chips. You just kind of want to try to go down the middle with it and just do halves because it tends to break up, fall apart, stick, and all that good thing. And you don't necessarily have to turn the banana either because you can get it to stick on the bottom of the pan that way too. Okay, and as that oil is heating up over here in the frying pan, I'm going to add a little bit of sweetness to it. I have an open one over there. And we're going to add some brown sugar because I'm going to add a little bit of caramelization to this today. This'll really get the calories up there. You need to consume more calories per day than what you're using, and sugar, well, that helps with that. Now that it's getting really hot, I'm going to place these bananas face down in it. Well, I'm going to try to. And we're going to heat them up. Now, why are we cooking the bananas? Well, my digestive problems have been pretty serious. So a lot of times to ease the digestion, to try to take fresh fruits down, a good way is to take some of the harshness out of them, some of the stronger points of them, and to just lower that a bit, lower the either the acidity or the pH of the fruit, depending on which one you're using, to where it's not going to be as hard for you to digest in the end product. So we're just going to let the bananas, and I'm going to move them around so that they don't stick, because long ago the Teflon kind of flew bye-bye on this pan. And then I'm going to add a little bit more brown sugar. As soon as I feel that these bananas are browned on the one side, I will take them over and I will add them to the blender. But I will keep the pan on because we're going to make a little bit of a butterscotchy type caramel to go into the smoothie. And today's smoothie is going to be based upon quinoa. Quinoa is a wonderful grain. It comes from South America. By itself, it's pretty tasteless and flavorless, but mixed with other things, it's very nice. Blended into smoothies, you could almost swear you're tasting a milkshake, especially if you get it nice and cold before you drink it. So it's a good one to use. I also use rice. I also use oats. And so every time you use those grains, you're poking those extra proteins into you between your meals. This is something I typically do not for a meal. I could do it for a meal, but it's typically something I do between meals to try to keep that calorie intake up. So the bananas are just about done frying here. And I'm going to add just a little bit more coconut oil. Now I need to get some more coconut oil because I use a ton of it. So let's turn one over and see what it's looking like. That looks pretty good. And you want them to look a little golden brown like that. Gives it a really, really nice flavor later on. And I would say that those are just about done. But we're not done with frying pan. So I'm going to take the bananas and I'm going to go ahead and put them into the blender. And now, and I haven't chosen which milk. I don't want too much coconut. So today's milk that I think that I'll choose to toss in will be some almond milk. And I like the vanilla almond milk. Some people like the normal. To me it's a bit plain, so I'm going to go ahead and put that almond milk right in there with the brown sugar and the oil. And we're going to stir it really, really good. We're going to try to keep lumps out of it, but that'll all be sorted out in the blender. And we're going to let that get really, really warm at first when you first put it in. And it depends on how much brown sugar you use. Really depends on how much of a sweet tooth you have. The first thing we want to do as alpha gals when we've been denied the things that we love to eat is we like to grab for comfort foods. Those are the ones that we seem to miss the most. So, I mean, we sometimes develop a bit of a sweet tooth and sometimes end up eating a lot of sugary things. I actually have some natural sweeteners that I can use and do use often in the place of sugars. But today, I feel like a sweet tooth. So we've got the coconut oil in there, and we got the brown sugar, and we've got the almond milk, and we're just letting it kind of all marry together there. It won't take any more than that. You want to let it get very, 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 very warm. Okay. And then I have two vegan thickeners that I like to use. One is cream of tartar, if I can find it, and the other one is arrowroot powder. So the first one I put my hands on was the cream of tartar, so we're going to be using it today because I don't feel like digging. So basically, you probably recognize this because this is what it would look like to make candy. And if I was going to make like one of my butterscotch recipes or something like that, I would do something similar. But this is a hurried one because I'm kind of wanting my smoothie soon. I'm hungry. So we're going to kind of rush this one a bit. So it's not going to take much cream of tartar. In fact, I'm just going to start sprinkling it in. No more than probably a teaspoonful. And I'm going to start stirring. And I'm going to start stirring very quickly. And if it doesn't look quite thick enough after a couple minutes, then I'm going to add a little bit more. But as you can see, it's thickening up pretty quickly here. As Tommy pointed out, there seems to be a lot of sugar in this. And yes, there is, and there's a reason for that. Quinoa is a very flavorless, it's a wonderful protein-packed seed, but it doesn't have a lot of flavor on its own. So anytime that you're going to make smoothies with quinoa, whatever you make the quinoa with, you're typically going to add a lot of things to it to give it a good flavor. Like I said, it's one of my favorites to use because it packs the most protein. The only grain that has more protein in it than quinoa would be amaranth, and amaranth is hard to find. So this is just about thick enough because, I mean, it doesn't have to be super thick for what I'm doing, which is just a smoothie. So this will be all right now. So I've got what's basically a caramelized toffee type butterscotch thing going on here with the coconut oil, the brown sugar, and the almond milk. So what I'll do next is I will take the quinoa and I will put it in the blender. Like so. Yeah, the quinoa was cooked ahead of time earlier, and I often use leftovers of it. I used it in my turkey chili today, so we're using leftovers of it to do the smoothie this evening. So that's quite a bit right there. Actually, that would be enough for 2 or 3 people to have a nice smoothie out of that. Now I'm going to take what basically amounts to my coconut flavored caramel mixture here, and I'm going to toss it in. And now, just to give it an even creamier texture when it is finished, and a little bit of even extra protein and some omegas, I'm going to add a handful of hemp hearts to this. So now we've got a handful of hemp hearts, a banana, about 2.5 to 3 cups of quinoa, and some butterscotch type mixture. But that's not going to make this a smoothie because this is going to be very, very clumpy. So we're going to be adding more almond milk. You can add just about any kind of milk. You could add coconut milk to this, but I've already got the coconut oil in it. I don't like things too coconutty. So I'm going to pour that on in there, and I'm going to pour a pretty good amount of it. And because I'm crazy about vanilla, I'll pour maybe an extra drop or 2 of vanilla extract in. And then so as you can see, this one is a rather thick one, depending on how thick or how thin you like to drink one. You could add more or less milk than I have. This one's a pretty thick one. That is a lot more than I will drink at one time, so Tommy's going to have to share it with me.
Awesome.
Oh, that's delicious. And there you go, your protein and sugar-packed smoothie for the day. That's probably got well over 200 calories in it. And that's just what you want to, if you're trying to gain weight, that's just what you want to eat between your meals. You don't want that to be your meal. It could be your meal. I mean, it's healthy enough to be your meal. But the idea to gain weight is to add a lot of calories, as many as you can, eating the foods that you're able to eat. Thank you for watching my video. Please feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you, and I look forward to making videos for you in the future with more news on Alpha Gal.